Well, looks like number one's got a shitty job to do this morning. This isn't that bad, but good opportunity to do it. Pretty much what's left in the bottom of the feeders is however many rounds of feeding. They don't eat everything. There's some nasty crap in there. Dirt and sticks. A couple bales ago in this particular feeder, there was a stick about the size of my arm poking straight up in the middle when I dropped the next bale in. It happens. Wind blows, trees shed, mower, rake, baler picks it up. You don't know it. I'd rather pick that stuff up than some of the garbage we pick up. But they just got to the point they're not eating too much out of here. I figured if there was much good stuff in here, these would all have been empty by this morning. And yeah, you can see where they stuck their heads in and they got to the good stuff. So the rest of it, be nice if we were set up to be able to move it over and use it for bedding. Well, except there's a lot, the dirt and the sticks don't need that crap in there. But it'll mix with the wet manure and break down and make good fertilizer at some point. But I loaded a load of manure out in the guy's trailer for him last night. He made it out the driveway. It means I must have put about the right amount on. I didn't overload him, but I got him heavy enough to get traction. But I got it from here where we dumped those 10 loads. I can't get in there anymore and still get back out. That slopes off, and watch, I didn't get any gravel mixed in it. Rainey's being stupid, pushing her head through a gate that's open, trying to fall down. It would have been bad if that pile wasn't there. She wouldn't have had nothing to catch on. I'm hoping she can probably take all this hay. If she's good enough to get it over this pile, get it on top of that, help soak that up. That's a bunch of lot scrapings and, it'll eventually dry up and cake, but if it's got some good stuff to go with it. Then that guy thinks he wants about 10 loads of manure. And I think Saturday's going to be a funky day because he wants manure. He only lives, a little over half a mile down the road. So his turnaround time won't be too bad. But I'm going to have to come in down below and get into the pile. So I'm hoping what she cleans today, she can keep the hay away from here would be a good thing. Because I don't need to load it full of hay. There's probably enough in here anyway. Hopefully it's mixed up enough. That's enough rambling. And by the way, no sunrise this morning. Rainy, windy. Number one will complain about the wind. She ain't seen it bad in here. We get a good enough wind sometimes with the rain that I've actually been right here by this gate on the skid steer. And the rain's come through that hole over there and flat out pelted me. You get about a 60-mile-an-hour wind coming through and raining like crazy. She's been out here with 20, 30-mile-an-hour winds and usually not much rain when she's complaining about the wind. Oh well. Yeah, and I was slow starting any video. I had to watch Prairie Sunset Ranch's video. Go check him out if you haven't. He had to take care of a hypothermic calf. Done a good job on it too, Aaron. And just so anybody knows, they don't have to have him out in the snow and in sub-freezing weather for a calf to be hypothermic. One of my biggest fears is not catching one out here. It can be 40 degrees here, even 50 degrees. And if they have one out in some of this where it's deep enough, that just sucks the heat right out. The snow insulates, mud takes it away. And we've had more than one. All you can do is drag them out and hose them off and warm them up. Had a cow a few years ago. Wind took out a chunk of barn roof and just inside where the cows go in and out right there. I figured up with the amount of water that come down and the size of the hole and the size of the roof above it, there was 64,000 gallons of water went right through a 12-foot wide strip in there. And a cow standing at the gate. Then there's one just inside there with a calf eating. My old cow named Snickers, she laid down between those two. Laid down or got knocked down, we don't know which. But the stuff was just like cake. And she was stuck in it, she couldn't get up. I spent about 45 minutes trying to dig around her with the skid steer. And another hour trying to get her up. And that was an older cow, and she was in pretty good shape. And we damn near lost her to hypothermia. So, you know, it can happen. Okay, I got things to do. Well, she doesn't have it too bad. Before she got on the loader, it was blowing really good and raining like hell. And it mellowed out a little. It's just kind of a pain in the ass working around these feeders. Clean up the holes and then make you a spot to put the feeder. In this case, she's going to take all the hay out of those feeders and dump it. A lot of dirt and sticks in it, so it's going to, hopefully she can get it over that little hump and get it on top of that wet stuff. And most of the rest of this she's going to put down toward the other end, and tomorrow one of us will probably end up loading it up in the guy's trailer and getting that out of here. So anyway, figured I'd show you at least a little bit of this. Go back far enough, I know there's video from in the cab, me doing it. She got to stop talking to her mommy. Becky went to the grocery store and finally got back, so. She doesn't do it the same way I do it, but it gets done. That's what counts. And I could be doing other things. So, at any rate, that's how we got to start. Get a hole and go. You're wondering, the holes at each end did line up. I had to turn the washer on that one. Not sure why I was off that a little bit. Just got this one in. It's got to get drilled from down here, which means hopefully long enough bits to get through that, and done with a little right angle, done with a little pain in the ass. Those things would be a lot better, but the way they designed those, the bull gear in them, ring and pinion, whatever you want to call it, when you push on the back side of that to put more pressure on your bit, you actually are relieving pressure on the gears and giving them more backlash. Yes, we have stripped the shit out of the gears before. So it's one of those things, we only use it when we have to. And we try to be careful with it. But still got to do this side. Then we'll set her on the frame, get it set where we want it, and we will mark. There's 1/2-inch bolts here, but we're only going 3/8 into the frame. A couple of reasons for that, but we're putting 2 at each end on each side, so it better hold up forever. Oh yeah, here's what it looks like under here. That hose comes from the fill, which is just a banjo fitting on the back. Valve handles on the back side of the fender. So that's how we fill the tank. And that little one there goes to the pump, and that one there, it's got an agitator jet inside it. So that's basically your extra that you're not spraying out. That's the main return to the tank, only return to the tank. So it agitates if the pump's running. So, and my slot worked. The only thing we had to do was the banjo fitting wouldn't go through, but as soon as we went to turn the banjo fitting a little bit, it's just a big nut on the valve at that end of it. And the nut broke loose and turned it, slid it through, and the nut made it through. So that's what I was concerned if the nut was going to make it through, but it did. So I'm gonna trade with Ron. I think I'll get this hole started and let him finish it. Yep, boys, I'm cutting nuts today. Pun intended. Oh, cutting on an angle to match. Let me get you over here. To match this angle, so that when the bolt, which is straight through here, it'll suck up even. It was either cut a couple pieces of this and drill holes in it and yada yada, no fun, or take 1/2-inch nuts to slip over 3/8 bolts. And it's probably a little dark in here, but we'll see what we can show you. There you go. 2 3/8 in each corner. We're putting the very last two. That's what I got that nut split for, is for the last two on the back side there. And then this part is mounted. And Ron just finished drilling the holes out. I was going to set it on here, mark them, and drill them, but worked out better this way. And besides that, the front fit in nicely, but the back was spread a little bit. So I sucked it in. This side sucked in first, got right where I wanted it, so we put the 2 bolts in there. Sucked this side up, which he just got the holes drilled. And the only drilling I got left to do before we put the booms on, these pieces I added to the back of the other tube, because the boom's going to set up on here. And one of the boom mounts is going to be into the side, but we'll get that later. But since there's a hole there that goes all the way through, I'm going to bolt it down to here. That way it's all solid. Things are going to flex a little. This side, when I welded it on, kind of tipped up a little. The other side's down pretty tight, but that's what we're going to do. Why? Because we can. So I got to finish cleaning up this nut that I just cut, and then we'll finish bolting her in. It pays to have some long bits sometimes. But leave it to Ron, drilling a pilot hole. Yep, first thing he did was spin this sumbitch off the end. I cut this off so we could get it out. That used to be a nice long shank drill bit, until I got spun in that hole way too many times and it wouldn't move. It's a bitch, pushing down too hard, it went through. Then it wedged. It's out now though. At least I got a usable short bit, right? It was short before it was added on to anyway. Yeah, it happens. All part of doing the fun stuff. But hey, there it is, 6 o'clock, and as soon as he gets done with that hole, we'll put the last 2 bolts in. They're right there. And we're done. So, at least that part. Then I got to figure out how to get the booms on. And that's going to be fun, because there's all the hydraulic lines got to get fished through, and all the sprayer lines got to get fished through, and I don't even know where they're going up here yet. I just know they're coming forward. So anyway, thank you for watching, everybody. Here, let me get back and get you a little perspective. Because you know I can zoom in, but I can't zoom out. So there she is. We're not going to have a lot of clearance on the tires when the bigger tires are on, but it'll have at least 2 inches of clearance, so that's plenty.